Junior, I have a technical question for you.
I'm sorry, it was kind of hard to hear what you said, Trustee Ando. What was that?
I have a technical question for you. It sounds like we're not having anyone online making comments. Is that my understanding?
Yes, that's correct.
Just having read through the script here.
Yes.
It's been a while since I did.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
So just bear with me.
Supposed to be eliminated.
Also, that was done a while ago. It's kind of around that the Zoom bombing issue. City council is only taking in-person comments, so saying that all the presentations. People can participate and watch via Zoom, but to comment, you either need to come in person or you can send your comments in ahead of time.
Are we ready to go? Junior, well, I think about we're ready to go here. Just one more comment from my end. If I bring this work pain, please understand it's not the agenda or I just had an X-ray on my shoulder today, which kind of nerve or something that hits waiting for that. But I should be able to at least get through this meeting, and I'm ready to go. So, Junior, are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Welcome to a regular meeting of the Board of Library Trustees meeting of August 13th, 2024. The time is 6:03. I'd invite Junior to call the roll.
All right. Trustee Ando,
Here.
Trustee Cortez,
Here.
Trustee Kyle,
Here.
Trustee Lee,
Here.
Chair Vidot.
I'll invite Junior to explain how the public can participate in this evening's agenda.
Thank you, Chair. Vice Chair Ando, this meeting will be held in person and is being recorded and streamed live to Zoom at the link on the agenda. You may participate in person to provide public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. You may also submit your comments by email by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting. We are offering closed captioning for this evening's meeting on Zoom. Select the live transcript button on Zoom to enable this feature.
Thank you, Junior. The first item on today's agenda is the minutes to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 25th, 2024. I would now invite questions from trustees to staff. Anybody want some time to review them?
Yeah.
Jamie, you guys okay?
Yeah, look, I wasn't here. I was absent. I was traveling.
Right.
So, not able to.
All right, people from the public here, unless one of you want to speak. So with that, I request a motion and a second on the minutes.
A motion to pass the privilege minutes.
Second,
I'll second.
there's been a motion and a second to approve the minutes. I invite Jim to call the vote.
All right, Trustee Ando,
Aye.
Trustee Cortez,
Aye.
Trustee Kyle,
Aye.
Trustee Lee,
Aye.
Chair Vidot. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Junior. The next agenda item is the open time for public expression. Seeing no one here present in the room from the public, if it's okay, I think we can just move on. The next item is special presentations and the introduction of Daniel Adams. the Assistant Library and Recreation Director.
Yeah, so I'll start it off and just want to introduce you all to Daniel. Daniel is our new Assistant Library and Recreation Director. Although he's been, what's the date? Almost a full month he's been with us at this point, so. We feel very lucky to have him. He could not have started a day later. I think his first 2 days I had him in back-to-back meetings planning how to close a library and open a new one. So, you know, kind of trial by fire. I'll let Daniel kind of give a little more on his background.
So I come from the bottom of the library. I was there for 14 years. And before that, I was at Open Public for 6 years. Really started as a library aide, worked my way up. I'm excited to now form part of the city of San Paulo with the San Paulo Public Library. And really looking to collaborate and build on the relationship with recreation and childcare.
That's great. Welcome.
Thank you.
I love the stories that when you work your way up and then you are here,
Yeah,
it's wonderful, real commitment. Yeah,
thank you.
that's great. Did you want us to do a little intro?
Yeah, why not? That would be great. He'll be your the primary liaison, so you'll know everybody.
My name is Sunny Lee. I've been resident of 25 years in Santa Fe. I love libraries. It's something almost obsession. I just crazy about libraries altogether. Any city I visit, I just go first thing I go is a tour about a library that I could find. So welcome here, and you're doing very much appreciate for the hard work you will do for all of us, everybody. Welcome.
Hi, Danielle. Jamie Cortez. I have been on this board longer. I can't even, the longest, I guess. I don't even know how long. So this will be my last term. And I started on the library board. I always like to tell a story because when I moved here 12 years ago, I knew absolutely no one. And I went to the library and hung out there with my little baby and built a community there, knew all, I mean, still know Margaret, like there in town, Holly, back in the day. And that's why I wanted to be on the board, because I thought like the way that a library can build community, I think is really awesome. So yeah, and just been super excited to see all these like finally coming to fruition. I'm not that everybody because it's been so many iterations, stop and go. So that we're going was pretty cool. So we're excited.
Yeah, I know, it's a good time to do it. So I'm Mary Kyle and I live in Santa Fe for the last 25 years, something like that, but born and raised in Marin. So couldn't haven't moved far, but raised 2 kids here. And of course, they attended, you know, all the summer recreation and the classes at Falkirk or whatever. So, you know, and in my bachelor's, I did some recreation with seniors and disabled people. So we love community-based recreation. And same with the library, as far as with the kids and bringing them here and, you know, 20 books every week. And I like I'm a social worker, the social work model of also, you know, multi-use and having a library being a center point for multiple, except that this one does, the other one's does, you know, I believe does. I just love it. So that's that part of just. My heart is there and I'm just retired. And it's like, I'm gonna go on the library board. So yeah, happy to be here.
I'm Mary, and I'm just the vice chair, so generally I'm just part of the pack. I think you're much like Mary Kyle, 25 years. I was Glenwood, I raised 2 kids who went to Glenwood, and my biggest all of that was being in the library, visiting the library, least with those kids. And the librarians were so wonderful to my kids. That when I retired, oh, and by the way, my wife and I both were very active in both of our schools. I was PTA president at Glenwood, and my wife was PTA president at Davidson. So we took education and the need for a library very seriously. when I retired several years ago, I decided I wanted to give back to the community. So one of the things I did was apply for a library commission. And I welcome you because I think this is, you're jumping into a situation where, as Jamie said, we're really going to be able to make some changes to the library and improve things. So welcome and
Thank you.
there's a lot of moving parts, but
Right.
we need you.
It's a lot of good opportunity.
We absolutely need you.
All right, so I think that's the introduction.
Since there are no members of the public present, I'll skip over any public comment on this item. And, and we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is the Piggery Branch Library renovation project update
Yeah.
and schematic design.
Yeah, so I'll kind of kick it off. Well, what I think you all know, she was here a few meetings ago and she's overseeing Pickle League right now. So she's here kind of to help probably answer questions, but the real presenter is Amy Jason. He is our architect on this project from Jason Architecture. And just to kind of provide a little bit of a background, I think you all are aware that we got a building forward, so we got the building forward grant for the downtown library. I'll give an update on that in my staff liaison, in the staff liaison report. But then we also got a second grant for kind of an interior design renovation at Pickle Branch Library. And there we had some forethought in that particular application, not the downtown, but that one to be very vague and not commit to a lot in our grant application. So basically the three things we need to do is we need to create rear egress. We need to kind of renovate the bathrooms and we need to redesign the interior. And that's what we're doing. And so from there, we really have a lot of flexibility in kind of how we do that. And we are constrained to kind of maintain the current footprint just from a budgetary perspective. But I'm very excited for what Abe's about to show you. And kind of where this project is going. So at the moment, so Abe started in April, May, something like that. And we're kind of wrapping up the schematic design phase, and then we'll go into the design development phase. Then that kind of goes into construction documents with our goal of getting into construction on this one in the summer, once we've reopened the downtown library. So I think that's kind of like the overview of the project. And we are planning to present this to the community we're going to have some boards at the Movies in the Park event. We'll also be presenting at Pickleweed Advisory Committee meetings. And then probably reuse those boards and just have them up in the library for people to see what's coming and provide input. Yeah, so with that, I'll turn it over to, are you on the Zoom?
I was gonna join now, so I'm assuming you have to let me in here.
It's a public Zoom, so you should be able to just
Yeah.
jump right in.
Should I join with audio or is audio?
You don't need audio.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
So you can join the computer and then just mute it and.
So I'm on.
Oh, so you want to and then turn off your audio. Yeah, sure.
Like, it's been double on this one.
That one.
Thank you.
And then you can just share screen and share the presentation. It'll pop up there.
All right. Great. Well, thank you everyone for having me here today. I'm super excited about this project. Brief little bit of background before diving the presentation. So we were in San Francisco, we work on libraries all over California. And we're currently working on a couple libraries in Carmel, in our county in the mountains, down in Hannibal. And this is third project. So we're pretty familiar with it. That's when we have our first one in construction. I think it's one of the first in the building form program to go into construction, the Campbell Library. And then just briefly for someone put race some of the brand data takes this project's extra weird. Cool, let's dive into it. If you go Jack at any point with questions and kind of scratch apologies. Yeah. So we're going to share with you our schematic design for the new library, and that's some preliminary plans and visualizations. Just to orient everyone, this is the existing plan. So I won't go through it in great detail, but in the green, that's kind of the collection of media room that's with the kind of nonfiction and fiction collections. In the kind of light green, the sagey color, that's the children's. Number 4 is a royalty, and number 10 on the right, it's kind of a bluish color. Is the computer lab, in staff space, the police office, the occupancy restroom. So just to come orient everyone to how the building looks right now. Also note, just for reference, for the rest of the Picklewood community centers to the right. North is up, south is down. This is our proposed plan. So it sticks within the footprint, and I'm going to point out a couple of things right off the bat. So sort of interesting enough, the first thing we talked about on this project was restrooms. Yeah, and so we started with actually a code analysis on plumbing fixture counts, because this building had an interesting history. It was initially kind of designed as a community center and added to the library. So you ended up with this very occupancy restroom kind of stranded in library space, and just didn't make a lot of sense. So it's taking up a lot of square footage. So we were able to kind of actually meet with the code official early on the project and determine if we could reduce the amount of restrooms from that larger building occupancy restroom. Again, back on the inside. To the 2 single occupancy restrooms that you can see kind of in the same location on the left-hand side. Now that was great because it freed up a lot of space. Sort of moving through. There's 2 things we did right off the bat. We relocated the 2 offices. So we have a public safety and police department office that's 8 on the left, and then immediately to the right of it, the staff office for the library staff. We got some benefits there. The public safety office is now embedded for visibility into the park, and then we have a larger functional staff office for the library. We also were able to get some more storage in that area. That's number 14. You can see a storage closet, and then a really nice kind of more functional circulation desk. That's number 5, kind of right off the data entry. The other thing we were able to do is really sort of increase the programming area. Square footage given income circulation, sort of movement around the space, and really open up the sort of, it's a small building, but you would like to think of it as the grand reading room as it can be at this scale, right? So that's the sort of spacing. And so it really creates this kind of nice cohesive space. And then the big move is we've taken that north facing room, open it up so there's a red glass facing north, and really kind of lovely view. It kind of becomes the sports fields and the canal over to the hills. This kind of central space has a couple programmatic elements in it. On the left, number 10, there are 2 study booths. So these are kind of booths for 2 to 4 people. They're not very closed, but they are acoustically lined. So it's a great spot for kids to spot to read a book or just meeting. We've got number 7, that's new books. Number 8 is holds on the other side of new books. Number 12 and 13 is where we have computers, public computers, as well as technology. So that's print release, self-check, and collections. And then we have, sort of a nice, sort of a comfortable reading area on the side of the space, looking out through this wall of glass. And then we've lined the space with bricks, which you'll see in some of the renderings. And then the really big change that we're super excited about is we reclaim this underutilized computer lab for children's rooms. That's number 3. So I want to briefly just kind of compare existing and new. And bear with me so I can see my screen here. So I think we're able to, one of the things I'll note is often when we do these renovations, we find that we kind of reduce collection, and that's largely due to ADA clearances. When we have a land area often overdone or built, we're not plant or shelves that we're talking about. And sort of comparatively, compared to other renovations we've done at the same square footage, we think we've done a regular job with collections. So you can see that the existing adult collections, and this would be worth in fiction and nonfiction, as well as other miscellaneous collections. We
Pause real quick. Can you blow this up? This wasn't in the report. I just did the floor plans and you see
on the right. Yeah, with me here, and I'll zoom in. Sound better? Is I can go bigger and get bigger.
That looks good.
You're better.
Thank you.
I know.
It's great.
How about that? So, existing adult collections, 143 linear feet, proposed adult collection, 150, essentially the same. Kids collection, very slight reduction, there was 267 linear feet, we're doing the 260, so essentially the same again. Teen collection, 48 linear feet existing, up to 55 linear feet. Holds were 10, we're up to 25. New books weren't really accounted for as a specific collection, but we have 25 feet of new books. Scroll down here so you can see square footages as well. So the collections reading room, which is kind of this kind of open space, again, fiction, nonfiction, we had 385 square feet in the original design, or existing. We actually increased that to about 1,000 square feet, so it's a sort of big portion, and that's by sort of creating efficiencies and reducing the amount of circulation that comes hallway space effectively. Kids went up from 240 square feet to 485. Circulation, so when I say circulation, I don't mean like the circ desk, I mean the amount of space it takes to hallways, vestibules, kind of, space to get from point A to point B. We had 380 square feet of circulation, or 20, so that's sort of like a real efficiency in the layout. Staff space went up from 145 to 245. That should allow them to serve the public in a much better manner. One of the big ways we do this is we eliminate the computer center, which was underneath that space, so it's no longer applicable, and then there's an identity children's area there. Restrooms, we have 410 square feet of restrooms, we're about 70. Community policing is basically apples to apples, 130 and 130, and we've increased storage by about doubling it from 20 to 55 square feet. I'm going to go back so you can see the whole thing again here. And at the full screen, you can zoom in again as necessary. Okay. So that's kind of a comparison of the program. Now I'm going to jump into kind of the fun stuff, which is how's this going to look and feel? So we're going to start with reading here. One of the points of inspiration here was sort of beautiful texture and wood paneling, and doing it in a way that felt kind of rich and tactile and had some character to it, but also for contemporary, right? We didn't want it to feel like this is too much about kind of old and nested throwback. We wanted to feel new and fresh, but have a little bit of a history and tradition of kind of beautiful wood paneling. So you can see some examples here of kind of precedents of wood paneling in a beautiful way that feels like it's a nod to history, but also contemporary. We also kind of wanted to think about our color palette here, and we're a big fan of doing kind of focus color palettes that really kind of emphasize our richness and materiality and are really cohesive in the way we put together. So we're looking for the wood at a white, which is sort of a medium tone wood. A neutral gray carpet. We tend to sort of shy away from sort of hyper colorized floors that tend to be problematic. Excuse me. And then, you know, a lot of the color we try and bring in fabrics and sort of furniture. So we're looking at ranging to this kind of not quite call it purple, but a rich kind of reddish blue. And then accents of brushed aluminum and then textured cast glass. And then our countertops in kind of a marble material. So here's what it would look like as you walk in the front door. Again, you can see sort of this, you know, sort of focal point that draws right out of the hills and beyond, sort of pop of green space and really clear organization with the wood paneling line walls. And we've got sort of a pretty low ceiling. We can't really get into the structure in any significant way due to budgetary reasons. So we want the ceiling to be lighted bright. So it's just sort of a white ceiling on the walls. And then we're creating this rhythm wherever you punch into that wood, so you have this sort of pop color. This is kind of looking from the circ desk for the children's area, and you can see we have some richer color within that children's area, as well as some fun signage on the glass. We have an acoustic separation from the children's area to the main space, but great visibility from the circulation desk. We also have the bulletins board and anything as you enter on the right, as well as books display. This is looking from the reading area at the end, looking back toward the entry. You can see the two study booths on the right that are acoustically. It's a really great spot at the front of the space with some lounge chairs to pick up a book and read in front of that wall of glass. And you can see that here, looking towards those study booths, we've got in front of some nice windows, you've got that pop of color, and it's just really wonderful view that we can take advantage of. Now we're going to take a look at the children's room. So the children's room has a little bit of a different palette. We're looking for more saturated color here, but we're still playing with the same color palette. So in this case, we are looking at a blue carpet and the wood panel will be painted blue as well. We have a blue acoustic felt, and then we're kind of playing with that more saturated color with this kind of peachy kind of gray blue. So there's sort of a nice play on the colors here. And kind of you step into the space to the right, there's currently a wall of kind of storage cabinets. We're going to punch a window on that wall and create kind of a window booth seat right there. And then we're building in the shelving along the perimeter. The benefit of that approach for collections is that we have flexible furniture in the center. So it will be very easy for staff to out of space and have a large story time event. And we're envisioning that would occur in this fun little nook in the corner. You can see we've got kind of a sunset looking graphic, but we've also discussed with Catherine and the team about potentially a custom mural or something in that spot. So that's a great spot for a story time presentation. It's also got this focal point with this fun sort of large light fixture. We've got a fun little perforated pattern above the shelving, storage behind that. And that's acoustic felt with a sort of bright color behind it. And you can see this is kind of looking from the other end of the space. You can see we're curving that corner to soften it and also create like a little focal point for a story time. And then we have the kind of entry into the kind of primary meeting room wrapped in wood. You can see we have that language of these kind of walls. You kind of cut into them. We discover of saturation color. And then kind of wrapping around and taking a look towards the big building. Not a big, we're projecting out, but the window seat. So we have this sort of nice little you know, some nook. We wanted to bring some daylight into that room. It's currently kind of a dark room without a window. And then lastly, we are thinking, so we're not doing a lot of exterior work. We're putting in the windows in, but we're gonna sort of revitalize the entry and give it a little bit of a presence that's specific to the library. And what you can see here is that we really are keeping with the existing structure of the entry, but giving it a little bit more of a kind of a welcoming presence. We've wrapped the kind of existing steel entryway with neutral cedar. We're adding some signage, and then we've also added a book drop. So there'll be a nice book drop right on the left that goes right next to the cert desk. You can also see kind of the existing trees there, the kids area poking out, and when we go to the cert desk. And just for reference, to kind of get a sense, this is the community center on the right. So you can see that it is also keeping with the language of the community center. We are giving it a little bit of a different identity, but we are not separating it entirely from how the community center looks and feels. So we feel like it's part of a family that goes together nicely. And with that, I'd like to open it up for questions, and happy to go back and talk about anything in more detail.
Questions? I have one. It looked like there were basically 4 computer stations. And my understanding is that right now, all of the computers there seem to be, I think they have to be assigned, or they have to sign up for a computer station. All of the slots are filled. Is there any, is for the existing stations, is it more or less? And if so, is there any way it seems to expand the number of stations, again, based on what I understand to do a demand for use of the computers, but
You can answer that question. So, we used to have like 18 computers in the computer lab, and we've been reducing because it's not been using it. So, now we have 6 computers. They are not full of the time, so, okay, we don't consider that it will be a big impact. Having 4 now, but so we have 3, I can see 3, yeah, that's correct. We have some books that people can use in the library, so in case we need them, we that's ready.
So I couldn't find number 9. I see this. It's but on the new one, I couldn't find 9. I thought it was in this corner somewhere.
You're typing it wrong. You're very astute.
It's on 8.
Yeah, the number 8 in the left should be number 9. You know, 8 is holds, and that is correct in the kind of central meeting room, but you can go count.
That was kind of what I wanted. And then with the study ones, I know it called really same as your tools. They had like the pane windows or something that would just keep the sound off. You're just going to have it on the sides and not closing it, right?
They take up a little bit of room if we do windows, so you need about 10 minutes to do anything cleanses in there. And these, this is more like akin to size of food that a cafe or a diner, you know, which is 6 by 6. So we just couldn't fit them without rethinking things. You know.
I was say earlier, we did talk about like, could we fit like a small 10 by 10, like little meeting room space, and we kind of debated between that versus these kind of acoustically lined, and in the end, it just didn't feel like we had, it would take too much away kind of from other space and from the ability to the flow of it all. And we felt these, for the uses that we are seeing, that these would be a good improvement from what we have.
I just think it's really cute. It's really, I love the colors. I think it's great. I mean, who needs 8 bathrooms or whatever that was? And a big hallway. So, you know, that's great. You know, and we're, yeah, we really were creative with your thinking and storage, and so I think it looks really neat. Mhm.
I have a question. Can we go to the picture of like the seating with your, first of all, I think those graphics are cool. I'm like, I don't know how you could do that. What's that? So is this really the sort of the max that we're getting here? It seems kind of tight with the, we're like literally only 4 open seats, right, in the whole library?
We could take a look at it. We haven't like looked into furniture in great depth. We try and be careful about not packing too much furniture into the small branches. They can feel crowded and sort of jumbled. So it's possible we could maybe 2 more seats here, or we could fit some groups. Like we often will pick up some of that space with like, you know, I don't think groups are like the little kind of upholstery coaches. So it's possible there's room for a little more seating here. I wouldn't expect we can fit a lot more and still maintain ADA clearances. So a lot of the time when you look at like older can be pretty packed with stuff, like you don't have ADA paths of travel on the, you know, through the space.
Seating do we have now? I should know this, but I would.
We've been reducing since we reopened after COVID. So basically we have 4 chairs. 4 chairs in the adult sections. In the lab we have more chairs, but because the ambient in the lab is kind of dark, the people doesn't like it because we don't have windows there. So then people go trying to use the computer and then go out. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like to me, I mean, I love that there's this new light, right, that's shining through, so it's like, and it can be more. I think it makes sense to do like linear of some sort, or that 2, 2, 2, 2 or something, just because it'll be cozier. I don't know. I just thought like the 4 big things just didn't feel like a lot of space. So maybe if there's a way to kind of.
Dangerously. We could probably fit another 2 seats back then, and it would still feel comfortable and maintain ADA clearances.
Obviously, you're the designer and the architect, but like having something more linear, like just to create more like space. I don't know. When I go to a library, I don't really like to sit around in a circle like with others. I like to like.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. So that was the only like question of a suggestion, and then the other I didn't see it here, so if I missed it, please let me know, Catherine. But how long will this library Pickleweed be closed during all of this time?
I mean, maximum it has to reopen by March 2026, because that's the grant deadline.
Are you doing it in phases, or are you gonna shut it?
I mean, it's too small to phase. You know, I think one of the things I haven't really talked about this a lot with anybody, but I've been thinking about is, you know, could we use some, I don't think we would want like a fully dedicated room in the community center. The community center is heavily utilized. But like, could we have holds pick up in the lobby? You know, we could still continue to do library programming there easily, you know, over the summer in the park. The park's gonna be newly renovated, there's gonna be a gazebo. You know, could we even, there's like a little extra desk at the front of the community center that parking services and code enforcement sometimes says we could have library drop-in hours. So I think there's going to be ways to continue to have library service in that facility.
Also.
Yeah, but we'll still have the book drop. I mean, this building's taking us 6 to 8 months is the goal. I would think something similar.
Yeah, that would be my sort of, I'd have to look at what we assume in our schedule, but I would say 6 to 8 months is an appropriate assumption. It doesn't include kind of moving in and out on either end, right? So.
So what's the start date of the like supposed construction?
I mean, we wouldn't start it until this library is fully reopened. I think.
Oh, you're gonna wait for, okay, so.
Oh, yeah.
Until it's like a second thing, not, okay.
Both libraries, but.
Yeah, yeah,
at the same
okay.
time, yeah. But great, I have my great staff though, and it's beautiful chair. I know. We take this out of an office thing. No, so I think, we're shooting for this reopening sometime between March and May. So then, and I think the schedule we had was sometime like June, for starting of construction.
Mhm, okay, thanks.
Oh, it's very nicely designed. There's a lot of different things that I've been to Pickering Library only like a dozen times, so I don't have been using this library particularly. So if my memory is correct, I think we're doing the space in entry, but there's a double. So we're doing the spaces in two sections and having a big office that number 6. This is very fantastic. I remember like a old library offices behind the tiny room.
That's
At the front desk, 5 and 6. And moving the safety. I didn't realize there was a public safety office was sharing the corner. I realized that moved to the other side. And even it's nice to have it like out to the deck, to your side.
Yeah.
From the reading room. That's, I think that's a really excellent way to like, there's now 4 different ways to get into the, 3 different ways to get into the library, which is great. I was just first a little bit blueprint, seeing the child from the corner in the children's room. I was, what's that? I was losing the space for the book stories. That's what I first come to my mind. Now I realize what your intention was. It's very thoughtful in a way. I think when I was at the library last like 6-7 years, been there a few times. It was not heavily used. I feel like there's only 1 person or 2 person, and computer room was really, you told me that there's 1 person using like 9 stations there, and I was picked in like only 1 person using. So thinking back on my head, oh, it's not really being used. So it makes sense to now to reduce to like 3 computers or 6 computers or something.
Yeah, it's interesting how the things have been changing because I've been working for 13 years and I remember when I started working, people make line to use the computer. But since, the laptops, the iPads, phones are more popular, so it's been reducing. And also the computer, we used to have computer classes there. We don't have anymore.
I was told,
Yeah.
I mean, I was told by school district that communicating the parents supposed to read emails and stuff. Now they're all doing it on their phone. Not literally like a 10-year-old has a smartphone nowadays. So I think there's a need of accessing computers now shifted to everybody's smartphones. So maybe that might be the reason the whole community not using it as a computer station. I think I really like that this pen, the nook, because that would be real great space because even our downtown library, there's a tutoring happens on the upstairs in the little table on the corner. And I've seen them many times and it was just really fine. It doesn't seems like a necessary to need to have a doors or in the closed so you need to hear them, but I've seen in downtown, and it seems like a very nice way. Just really give a little more. There meeting some tutoring classes or something. So I really like that one. Yeah, the colors, first with the rendering of the blue, it just kind of jumped to me. Someone told me blue is very calming, but I don't know if you guys discussed with it, like I don't know, something that kind of scale of the one color. It's hard to just perceive it from the drawing to me. It's just really in-person experience. If there's any samples of any other libraries or any public space have that kind of a color scheme, I would love to actually go in and experience too. So
Yeah, it's something we've talked a lot about. It's color, and, you know, it's tricky because it's such a small space and we want to, right? But it's a space at this scale where you don't want to make it cacophonous, visually cacophonous, not audio. And so we need to be careful about our color choices, but we've talked a lot about it. Is it blue? We've explored some different options. We'll keep exploring, but
Yeah, it's very personal.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional, also personal choices. So one person could be very different than another. Maybe we have to get some kids feedback. I don't know.
I think one thing that, you know, that big curve wall, one of the things we're talking about is trying to do some sort of, like, community collaboration with. To give us the same page of, you know, some of the local schools and do it actually as like a vinyl adhesive that could, you know, every few years be replaced by, you know, as kids are no, are no in school, like it could be kind of refreshed. So I think that'll also really hopefully be a focal point. This is just like a pretty new idea. No kind of, you know, working it through.
There's I don't know, the spear, the Las Vegas, that you could just flip the LED screen.
No, I don't think we can do that. Yeah, but.
Yeah, having a mural, having a community mural.
There has to be some sort of youth art, like.
You are meant to say, you know, part to you display.
Oh, no, I've never.
We just submit the kids' art, they just photo scan and keep showing, and kids will be excited, their artwork displaying. You know, 5 seconds gone, but they will see it, then that's what they remember. That's an idea.
I have another quick question, or do you? When do you go to the Pickle Weed Advisory Committee? Did you already go?
September.
September, okay. Well, you said they don't have any feedback of any of this so far. They haven't seen anything. So love to hear, maybe at the next meeting. What their community with that, the Pickle Weed Advisory. Oh, yeah, the community and the Pickle Weed Advisory Committee, so if we can put that on the agenda, that would be great for other meeting. And then how is the staff feeling about it? Like,
Yeah, you always been in every meeting, so.
Well, I have to say, it is like a dream come true, like, because, I think when they initially designed the renovation, like almost 18 years ago, 2006. Yeah. So they have another idea than how the library will be using. Or they don't estimate how busy it will be. So even the staff area was made up for one staff person. We are regular 3 plus a page sometimes. And also like in and out, this little office is an office, a meeting room, a lunch room, everything. The microwave next to me on my desk. So it's really hard to work with all the distractions. But also like the staff needed, we don't have appropriate space for kids. So sometimes it's an adult gonna read it, the kids are running around, and so that's a daily, you know, like thing that we have run as a staff. So for us, it's like we see the light at the end of the tunnel. To improve the service, really, it's very well used. The library is very well used for the community. We call that as kind of our jewelry for the canal because a lot of people using it. So we are happy that this become true. Like we've been wishing for this space for a long time.
When was the library built?
2006.
Okay.
Isn't there, like, there's a space for parking the strollers? I would think there's the thinking about strollers.
Yeah, I'm thinking, we have kind of, right next to the sign there, that might be a good spot to kind of stack strollers up.
Okay.
Right, anything about the height of the center, to make sure it's not locked, but even there's a nice spot right there to stack strollers up.
Little kids story time.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about it, but really, I think we wish to have offer more study space, but that's what we have now. But we're really happy that this is happening. Yeah.
Would that be possible to, like, the table and chairs out on the deck area? So it's oversized.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations about could we like bulb the deck out a little bit? The problem is that so there's kind of a list of capital projects that need to happen at the larger community center. And replacing the deck is on there, that deck needs to be replaced, but it called after leveling the building, replacing the roof and the HVAC, and then replacing the deck. So there's like a number of years before that can happen, but I think our thought is when that does happen, we could, include a bulb out there. With some chairs and outdoor seating to have that kind of indoor outdoor space. So we early on, we had that part of the plan, but I think it's just the timing isn't gonna work out with. It doesn't make sense to expand it now and within the next 5 years, it's gonna need to be completely redone, so. Hopefully not too distant future, we can.
Yeah, it's reason that they left the door.
Yeah.
So they
So
can
the
have.
walls, it's on the floor, or the steps, you know, put down on the step.
And see like maybe some small, but not, it needs to be part of the project, but you get a couple of chairs to put out there.
And then step go out and have a lunch or something. So
Where's the back door? And did you say,
Is it this one?
is this one?
This house.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, like these,
this is the entrance.
this is the window,
This is the main entrance, and this is the children room.
and this is the window,
Here, you want.
the window's here.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, and that's where the seating is, okay. And then the deck.
That's the thing right now. Sorry.
I just have the spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah. See it. I'm also wondering about the ceiling lights. Is there gonna be like edges of glowing LED light? That's a.
We're still working on that, so I would say I don't get to that right now. We'll keep it. So the goal is for the ceiling to feel right,
Yeah.
so it doesn't feel low, because it is low.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be, so that'll be the lighting approach, is to make sure that.
But-
it feels bright.
Looks like there's already gonna be floor to ceiling on the living room, so that was natural. I will come in.
It's gonna be much brighter, and it's nice because it's facing windows and like, you guys
Yeah.
know who your house is, but like it's soft.
Something.
It tends to be indirect, aside from the little. Some afternoon. So it's just a really nice angle, like you're fixing light a lot.
Yeah.
I also know that I do think the existing deck is big enough to throw a couple of big tables and chairs out there. I mean. Being great down matter chair, but I think it's certainly work for you guys to use that deck.
Thanks so much.
Any questions? I have one other question, and this may be beyond the scope of what you're doing, but I know the parking has always been an issue with Pickle Rick. Is there anything, other changes, since the library is gonna be such a large part of this, to have specific parking or parking availability for patrons?
So parking is not part of this project, the Pickle Park renovation project is adding about 18 spaces. But on the other side, on the east side of the park. Any spaces we add are gonna get taken up. It's particularly in the evenings, and weekends, like parking is just a challenge in the neighborhood overall, so. I think the city has contemplated and looked at like different parking enforcement and we do currently have some permit parking for staff. But it's just very challenging. It's a very challenging issue.
Games going and.
Yeah, Yeah, so there's a whole East Santa Fe parking working group at the city trying to figure this out, and it's a tough one. Yeah,
Thank you.
but no, good question.
Well, thank you, Nate, Catherine, for all of your input. With that, I don't see anybody from the public present, so we'll skip that. And move on, so thank you very much. We're trying to see what the community has to say about the library, which I think that really well. All right, the next thing on the agenda is consideration for canceling the September library board meeting.
Yeah, well, actually, since we posted the agenda, we had a different idea. But the agenda is already kind of, we can change it. But we were actually thinking about, so the reason we were putting this forward is we are closing the downtown library is closing on the 2nd. We're reopening the pop-up library on the 16th. This meeting, I believe, is scheduled for the 13th. Or something like that. So we were just thinking, gosh, how are we gonna pull together a staff report? And then when we're also trying to close the library and move everything. So that was, but one thing that we thought was perhaps we cancel the formal meeting, but hold a special meeting at the pop-up location. And give you all kind of a sneak peek tour of the new location. It probably won't be fully set up, because we'll still have a couple of days to, but.
Too stressful.
There'll be no staff appointment prior, there'll be no official business, no formal agenda, it'll just be kind of. It'll be notified, we'll figure out with the city clerk exactly what the noticing has to look like, but we do this once a year with the Park and Rec Commission, where we do kind of tours of parks, and. We're not able to discuss kind of like official business, but we can show you the space and.
The big bathrooms, and she said.
Yeah, well, they're not as big as the pickleweed ones currently, but they're bigger than the downtown library. The multiple.
Everybody has to work, I plan a class.
We'll see, there's a lot of work going on right now. Hopefully it'll be pretty move in ready, but it has been vacant for a long time, so we'll see. But so that's kind of our proposal, is that we cancel the formal meeting, but hold a special meeting to tour the pop-up locations.
Did you get a good lease deal?
We did, yeah, we got a very good deal.
Good.
Yeah.
Any discussion on this?
Makes sense.
Let's
do that, why not, a move to cancel and hold a special meeting.
So I would propose that we cancel the September meeting and have a special tour meeting, as Catherine has explained, that we won't be discussing business. Unfortunately, I will not be there, but I would like to at least put the proposal forward.
I'll second.
Jim, do you want to call the roll on this?
Trustee Ando,
Aye.
trustee Cortez,
Aye.
trustee Kyle,
Aye.
trustee Lee,
I,
chair Vidot. And who motioned?
I did.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And you were suggesting which date?
Whatever, we do have a normal meeting,
Normal day.
it'll just be, the same day, so it's the 10th,
same 6 o'clock.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the staff liaison report.
Yeah, so I didn't actually tell Daniel that we were doing liaison report, so I'll start, and if you have anything you wanna add, feel free to jump in, but, so I think the big, very good news is we got the bids back for the general contractor for construction on the downtown library, and it's within budget. So we're gonna be able to complete the scope of project as proposed. We have a good amount of contingency, so hopefully that'll kind of get us through any unforeseen issues that might arise. So there's a whole lot going on, so that contract will be going to council on September 16th. Between, I think probably this week or next week, the roofing contractor is gonna start getting up on the roof and doing the investigation work to make sure that the proposal we had put forward for the roofing will stop the leaks. So then he's also gonna complete that work before the general contractor gets on site. We're also gonna have some HVAC work done ahead of time. And we had the hazmat testing done and potentially some hazmat testing done ahead of time as well. So we predict that the general contractor will take over the site kind of at the very end of September, beginning of October. So there's kind of a lot of different moving pieces of work that we're scheduling in before that gets turned over. Additionally, obviously, we're trying to figure out, we're not trying to figure out, we've got it figured out, planning the library move. So we have our moving companies on board. Will be the second is a Sunday, and then Monday is the holiday, is Labor Day, so on the 4th. Staff are gonna be in there. We actually just had the boxes dropped off today to pack for staff to pack up their individual things. And then starting on the 4th, we'll be packing it kind of like the general library. We do have a mover on board that is who specializes in library moves and kind of understands how to move collections, how to organize them. So staff will be moving the collection that's going, kind of putting the collection on carts that's going to the pop-up, because we're kind of picking and choosing, but then this moving company will be doing the rest. We are saving a lot of money by installing a wall, because there's no work being done on the big stacks. So we'll be installing a wall there so those books don't have to get moved, and we're gonna use those aisles for a little bit. It turns out when you have a really small library, even though it feels like there's a lot of furniture and it's really full, when you actually count it out, it's really not. So most of the furniture is we're either taking it over to the pop-up space or getting rid of the furniture that's just kind of old stuff that has stuck around for too long. So it's really not that much that we're gonna have to put in storage aside from the collection. So the pop-up is also coming along nicely. Our public works team in there has been fixing some of the plumbing. We've had an electrical and data cabling out there to make sure we've got all the electrical and data we need for the workstations. You know, it was a building that used to be a beauty supply store. So they didn't have a lot of computer and technology needs. So there's some of that infrastructure we've been working on. The property owner cleaned the windows and is repainting the exterior today, or this week, maybe even today. Yeah, he was doing it today. So that's exciting. And then next week, we're gonna have some of the shelving installed. We got Petaluma just to close for a big renovation. They donated their shelving to us, so it's kind of all working out really nicely. And then I think Healdsburg is donating some paneling for some partitions for the staff areas. So all of that's getting installed to hopefully be ready for us to move in beginning of September.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I don't choose to any programming the last 2 weeks of September, but I kind of be able to do it. I think it'll be fine. We've got a good project manager who does a lot of these kind of moves. They designed the space for us, and they're also kind of helping coordinate like the different vendors and help keep, create our timelines and things, and they've been very helpful. And then I think I guess since I mentioned it before, the Pickleweed Park remodel, that also we came in under budget on that as well. So that is moving forward. The park is scheduled to close at the beginning of September for that construction as well. So there's gonna be a movie in the park on August 23rd. At Pickaway Park, and then it'll be telling everybody about it. Closing shortly thereafter.
Question, is it like a massive announcement or like a public outreach about the Senator downtown closing?
We have been doing a lot of outreach, yeah. I got interviewed by the IJ, so they haven't put I think they're probably waiting till closer. There's not really a lot of urgency, we're still a few weeks away, so.
Yeah, I just, sometimes I just, so many.
We'll do another, the day we close, we're, signage, kind of.
Like it's some sort of big poster at the door.
There is that's okay.
It's out today? Thank you. It's odd, like how, I don't know, I sign up something and I keep getting put in my library closing for a month, like your last day to pick up this thing is or something like.
Signage is a weird thing in libraries, I think, from my experience, you, a lot of the times are like.
It doesn't register.
But we kind of were really strategic about when we were placing signage, there's door signage, there's a book drop. Some
Yes,
polls kind of explaining to people what we're doing, what's happening next.
yeah,
And then we're gonna shift from that signage, like on the door and the outside of the building, once we're closed, and directing them as to what's happening next.
We'll also be putting up signage at the pop-up location that says, like,
yeah,
they'll have a library coming soon.
that would be great, yeah.
Yeah, so I think you'll see more, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's so hard, there's just so much information.
Yeah, so we are never doing it by everything every day.
Yeah, and then, I think we're kind of wrapping up summer programming. I don't know, how do you think it went?
Well, I think it went really well. Our programs were very well attended, and we're gonna have the last one this Thursday, so. No, we were very happy to have the sense of the old family visit the library during the summertime. It's just kind of busier time, but yeah. But also it's the opportunity to see new faces and the families come together. So I think in general, this summer program, even that we didn't have prizes or little prizes, the people really like the bag, yeah, the candle bag. They were like the highlight of this summer. Everybody was.
The canvas bags.
Yeah. So we almost run out of the bags, so which is good. We don't have anywhere to put them. Yeah. And also like the way we did this year, like having our programs or most of the programs for Pickaway were instead of story time, so we already have the audience. It was make so much easier. And also we try to put in our calendar for older kids in the day that we close late, so it could be like adult teen programming. So we did on Thursdays evening, so yeah, that works. It works really well.
Other questions? I am just pleased, so pleased that the contract came in on the budget or at budget, and that's impressive. As somebody who worked in financing construction in my prior career, with the building sold and with the renovations that have gone on since, be on top of your GC and have enough contingency, because once you start busting through those walls, you don't know what you're.
Yeah, I hear you. I know. That's why I was very, I'm really into where we're at the moment. It feels good that contingency can go quickly, so.
Yeah. But I thought you were doing it all, so I'm so glad you have a project manager.
Well, Well, we have someone from Public Works that is helping us, although she's leaving, but we're getting,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not running the construction.
So much logistics, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm very glad to have Daniel.
Daniel, you know, moving the volunteers, their some are so old, they were gonna be just trash, but I could help you find some new homes for those, I do the marine recycle.
Well, there's a surplus procedure for furniture of
Yes.
the city.
Yes, so
we'll be
there's a way to
Yeah.
find a way out instead of just cemetery.
Yeah.
Great, that's good to know.
Yeah, I think one of the tricky parts is just timing.
And
Because
you only have a.
yeah, like not that much time, but so I think we can see if we can go through as much of the process as we can before the contract actually come in. So, yeah.
It's nice you're getting stuff from that. You know,
That's
what
another
was
thing.
needed up.
So, how do you? Okay, that's okay.
That was our facilities by design, our consultant, they're the ones that are helping close the Petaluma and Hillsborough branches, so they.
Oh, that's so
Yeah, so
good.
they're doing all of that work around the area, so they get that for us. Yeah.
All right, seeing no one from the public present, I'll skip and comment. Next agenda item, commissioners' reports, brief reports on any meetings, conferences, seminars attended by board members. Anybody have anything to report? All right, and again, there was no one from the public here in attendance. So we'll move past that. With that, unless anyone has any other issues they'd like to raise at this time, I will adjourn the meeting. And it's 7:13.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.